Hello, everybody. Okay. Hi, Criminal Med. How you doing? Hi, Triple O. Um, so
Hey, can you
today,
hear me?
yeah, I can hear you just fine. You sound great. Um, today,
Good.
uh, I got thrown for a loop this morning, already prepared to talk about the Laura Miller case and everything with that. And then see the news of Adam Montgomery having his murder conviction reversed, and I am pissed. Like, so pissed, I was shaken. So,
Yeah, that's
one,
not a good thing.
no, I thought it's not, unfortunately. That's why I had to take a breather for a few minutes. I wanted to come on a few minutes early to go over this real quick before we got into the Laura Miller stuff. So those who don't know, let me get this shared. Harmony Montgomery was a little girl. I think it was back in 2019, December of 2019, something like that. Um, was murdered by her father and or so-called father and stepmother, mostly her father, um, Adam Montgomery. I followed this case, the trial. Oh my gosh, come on, computer, what is it doing?
I wonder why they would give him
Trial.
a new case when he couldn't even show up for the
No.
trial.
Oh no, no. Son of a bitch couldn't. He's such a. I'm gonna swear. I don't care, but it helps me. Okay. Um.
Yeah, go for it.
So he had custody of his little girl. There was a whole issue. I'm not gonna go into it. The little girl's mom, Harmony Montgomery's mom, fought and fought like hell to for her daughter and to have her daughter. Um, but I'm not. That's just a whole other live stream issue. I'm not going to go into with all the CPS and everything. But I followed this case. I followed I followed the trial very closely, and it's one of the reasons why I don't cover children's cases, or don't like to, because it hurts and it hits really hard, and then shit like this happens. But
Yeah, it's disgusting.
I don't know why that's running right there, but whatever. I'm just gonna keep talking. Anyways, so they were homeless, they were living out of their car. He beat that little girl to death in December of that year. I think, like I said, I think it was 2019. I can't entirely remember. Did horrible, horrible things to her body. She has never been recovered. He is such an asshole. He won't say where she is. Um, so I think it was in 2023 or 4, he was found guilty of her murder, and he was already in prison for other things too. So he had other charges that he's also guilty of. But this morning, it was found for whatever reason that he had his murder conviction reversed. And I want to see why. So I'm going to go through this with you guys. So this is an article, Harmony Montgomery case, Adam Montgomery's murder conviction reversed by Supreme Court of New Hampshire. So let's find out why. And this is bringing back like Letitia Stouch and her freaking having her murder conviction reversed and new trial. She's another one. She murdered her little boy. Like, okay. The father of Harmony Montgomery, the 5-year-old New Hampshire girl whose remains still have not been found because the asshole won't say where she is, had his murder conviction reversed by the Supreme Court of New Hampshire. A ruling issued Thursday shows that the court reversed Adam Montgomery's conviction for second-degree murder, but affirmed his convictions on other charges, including second-degree assault, falsifying physical evidence, witness tampering, and abuse of a corpse. He was found guilty in February of 2024 and was sentenced that May to a total of 56 years to life. He was already serving a 33 to 67-year sentence. Stop that. Okay. From a 2023 firearms conviction. The sentences were to be served consecutively. According to the ruling, the justices of the New Hampshire Supreme Court agreed that the trial court should have separated the second-degree assault from the murder charge. Montgomery also argued the court improperly admitted certain evidence about how Harmony's mother came to contact law enforcement, and the justices agreed that that was not intrinsic to the murder charge. Again, that mom fought like hell to find out where her daughter was. If it wasn't for that mom, he wouldn't have been brought to trial. The law enforcement didn't do shit until, and I'm pro law enforcement, don't get me wrong, but I mean, she was contacting anybody and everybody. I believe she even wrote like the governor or the mayor begging for help. We conclude that the misjoinder of offenses was not harmless as to the homicide charge. Accordingly, we reverse the defendant's conviction of second-degree murder, justices wrote. Harmony was last seen in 2019, but was not reported missing until more than 2 years later. See? Prosecutors said Adam Montgomery violently beat the girl to death in a car in which they were living, then hid and stuffed her body into various bags and locations. Before the sentencing in 2024, the prosecutor asked Adam Montgomery to disclose where the girl's body was in exchange for a minimum 35-year sentence for second-degree murder. To that question, Adam Montgomery showed no response, verbal or physical, and did not look up from the table in front of him. That's him. And by the way, he has a Pennywise the Clown tattoo on his neck. For those who don't know, Pennywise is the killer clown from the book It, who kills children. And that is what he has on his neck.
Disgusting.
Yeah, that is a Stephen King
Mm-mm-mm.
character.
He's just a piece of,
Side
he's just white trash all around.
fucking piece of shit. It got reversed because of a technicality. Aside from one day of jury selection, Adam Montgomery did not attend his murder trial. He also requested not to attend the sentencing hearing, but a judge ordered that he be present. And by the way, I saw that and he like smiled and joked the entire fucking time. Earlier this year, Montgomery was ordered to pay $15 million to Crystal Sorey, which is Harmony's mother, after he failed to respond to a wrongful death lawsuit. Yeah, she's not going to see any of that money. She also sued, I think, CPS and won, if I remember correctly. Let's see what this has to say here.
We are interrupting programming to bring you breaking news right now. New Hampshire's Supreme Court has just overturned Adam Montgomery's conviction in the murder of his 5-year-old daughter, Harmony. We just obtained that decision into our newsroom, which says Montgomery's right to a fair trial was jeopardized. The High Court saying his second-degree murder charge and a second-degree assault charge for an earlier incident of abuse should not have been kept together in his trial. But the court is upholding that assault charge. Adam Montgomery was convicted of second-degree murder in 2024. His daughter Harmony hadn't been seen since 2019. And to this day, Harmony's body has never been found. This is a breaking news story. We will have much more coming up on News Center 5 at noon. And also you can stay on top of things inside the WCVB mobile app. For now, we will return you to regular programming.
Look how pretty. Such a pretty girl. She was only like, I think 4, maybe 5 at the time. She was adorable.
Yep. And plus, that foster family would have taken her in a heartbeat, also.
Oh yeah, there was that one foster mom that really didn't want to give her up. She
Right.
testified
So many
on the
people would have,
stand
I
and
mean,
she was,
people would have taken her.
yeah. Yeah, Kayla is a whole other issue. Um, Kayla was also involved in her, she was, I guess you could say, an accomplice to her
Yep.
murder, was a stepmom at the time. Um, but Kayla didn't, well, she didn't, I'm not trying to defend Kayla by any means. I'm just giving you a history. Like she didn't physically hurt Harmony that I recall, but she did nothing to protect Harmony. But Kayla took, um, she took a plea deal. She was very selfish. She took a plea deal in order to testify against Adam. So she's out. As soon as like he was convicted in that February of 2024, she was out of prison, I think by within the next couple of months.
Yeah. She's disgusting, too.
Yeah. Karma's gonna come and get her in the ass, I'm telling you.
Yeah. I just can't imagine she's being this model citizen.
Yeah, and I don't even know. I think her mom had custody of their kids too, which tells me Kayla's
Yeah.
probably got the kids.
Yep.
All right. I thought I got that out of my system.
I don't know what's going on
Sorry.
with these judges or who, why are why they're doing this.
I don't know. And, Alex Murdaugh, again, another one,
Yeah,
murdered his son and his wife, and that gets overturned and he gets a new trial. I don't know if Adam's going to get a new trial or not. That didn't say, but
it's disgusting. And it's just a waste of our money.
yeah. Oh, okay. Woosah.
Hmm.
All right, so let me get my tabs here.
How's the weather up there?
Actually, pretty today. It was a little rainy this morning, but that's bright and sunny. All right, so
It's going to
let's just.
be 98 today. Go ahead, though. Sorry.
Oh, criminal med. Did you actually go to the compound? Not the compound, whatever um like the
The murder
house,
scene.
the whatever, well, the scene, but the house that they lived at, like that, with all the dog kennels and stuff. Moselle, yes. Were you there? Like, did you go and tour it like when the trial was going on? I'm sorry, I'm just really fascinated that you actually got to go see that. That's actually really cool. Yeah, no kidding. That is something to remember. Oh, yeah, where Paul killed Mallory. Damn. Oh, that is awesome. All right.
Paul and Mallory.
So, I mean, I bet it's beautiful there, but I mean, it's got to be surreal just to visit that scene and to know what happened there. Oh, damn.
Yes.
Okay, so, well, I guess speaking of scenes, I have um some articles to go over, switching now over to Laura Miller, who was the daughter of Tim Miller, who's the founder of the Texas Equisearch. This case is known as the Texas Killing Fields. Um, and today we're going to be talking about Clyde Hedrick. He was a longtime suspected murderer of Laura and I think a few others. Um, and he was recently released. I don't know how recently, but he was out on parole a couple months ago when the indictment came down, um, about the grand jury indictment came down about uh, Laura Miller and the other gal that I can't think of her name right now for the life of me. And shortly after that indictment came down, he committed suicide. And uh, the other dude was arrested, which we'll go over in a later live. But right now, this is going to be a dive into Clyde Miller and or not Clyde Miller, gosh, Clyde Hedrick. But I also wanted to kind of show, I found a video that shows the scene of the Texas killing fields there on Calder Road, which I'll show
I
real
remember
quick.
watching the documentary they had about this. It was good.
Yeah,
And I told you I used to travel that highway back when I was like 17, 18 ish all the time.
like you would
Creepy.
literally drive right by the field.
Well, that highway that all that was going down on, now I can't think of the highway,
Mhm.
but I would go to from from Dallas area to uh oh my gosh, Texas City, which is by Galveston area. So I would go that area when I would go. It's so
Crazy.
creepy when I thought about when I realized way later all that had went down, there. Because at the time I didn't know about all that till years later. I was young. I didn't care about the news, you know.
Yeah. So Criminal Med asked, was there a book on this case? I don't know if there's a book, but there's a lot of videos, there's documentaries on this case. It's the Texas killing field. Think of from like the late 70s to the early 90s, I think. Um, there's a documentary also on Netflix called The Texas Killing Fields.
I think that's the one I've
I'm
seen.
also, yep, I also have a documentary that I'm going to show as well. But we're
Cool.
going to start with this one. So, yeah, I haven't actually seen this, so it'll be fun to go over.
Hmm.
Let's get it ready here.
Today we find ourselves in League City, Texas.
Lake City, Laura, is that where you were thinking of?
No, not League City, but League City is right in there. I've been there too. We used to go to all those little towns around there when I would go, But I would go to Texas City, which is
Hmm.
all right in there together.
Just off of Calder Road. A stretch of land that was once known as the Texas Killing Fields. Well, I guess technically it's still known as that. But things have definitely changed. The Texas Killing Fields were 25, 26 acres of nothing but fields surrounded by nothing. At one point, somebody said that if you were to stand in the middle of the Texas killing fields and scream, nobody would hear you. You were that far away, even though you could see civilization. And in the same interview,
Actually, and Tim Miller said, I believe he went there. I don't know if he hollered or if he fired off a shotgun, something. He made a bunch of noise and got like no response at all. Like it is completely silent.
Creepy.
Yeah.
they said that if you were to stand in the middle and then run towards civilization as if somebody was chasing you, you wouldn't make it. Since the early 70s, there's been over 30 women whose bodies were found here in the Texas killing fields. And for years, their identities were unknown. Their killers are unknown. A lot of these are still unsolved. In fact, I think it was just recently, within the past, I don't know, 10, 15 years, that the last two Jane Does, they know who they are now.
Wherever I come, bad luck just comes my way. Wherever I go, hard luck.
Whoever was killing these women for quite some time, a lot of people thought maybe it was just one person. But then as time grew on and people were suspects and then they weren't suspects anymore, a lot of people believed that there could have been multiple serial killers. Now, at the time of recording this, it's 2022.
So I believe that, and we might find out this a little bit more, that Clyde Hedrick probably worked alongside, gosh, what's his name? It's gonna bother me. Hang on. What is his name? That's on the tip of my tongue.
I can't think of their names. It's been so long since I've seen this stuff.
It's James Dolphs. James Dolphs. I have a feeling that they worked together. That's how I feel.
It's your hunch.
I don't know. That's just a hunch, but we'll see how as things progress.
And all along Calder Road here in South Texas, there are businesses, there's a Walmart, there's new houses. There's been a lot of changes to the terrain. It's no longer this vast emptiness that once was back in the 70s. Now behind me, this church, they bought a piece of land pretty much right in the center of the Texas killing fields. You can actually hold a map of what this place used to look like to what it looks like now with the church on it, and it eerily matches up. But I point out this church because when they bought this land, they actually put a monument to a few of the victims on the property. The monuments the church built sit at the very back of the property, situated safely and quietly away from Calder Road. It's a busy road today, not like it was back in the 70s. But right where Jessica is standing, she's looking at the cross marker for a girl by the name of Laura Lynn Miller. And like I said, there's been over 30 victims, 30 women who were found back here. And each one of them has a life. Each one of them has a story. But today, we're going to tell the story of Laura Lynn Miller.
When Laura disappeared, there was not one article in a newspaper. There was not one thing on TV.
Well, the police chalked it up as to
She run away.
Run away.
Run away. 100% run away. Run away.
Yeah, Tim had to really, really push for advocacy for his daughter, like a lot. Hence why Texas EquiSearch was found.
And then, of course, that 17 months later, her body's found 2.5 miles from our house. And there's where little Laura's body was found. I built this cross in 1986, a week before Christmas. And I'd walk up and have that little talk with Laura and say, Laura, don't be mad at Daddy right now. I said, but, you know, I got to say goodbye. I have to put my life back together. And I said, Laura, I can't come out here anymore. I'd hear a little voice on my shoulder, Dad, don't quit. Please don't quit. And I said, damn you, Laura. Just damn. I guess now I know what she meant. I felt like, you know what? I'm the worst father in the damn world. I did not know what to do. I was basically paralyzed. How could I let this happen? Dads are supposed to protect their children.
Did you think of suicide?
Did I think of it? Let me tell you how God works. I was so...
Also, FYI, he really did suspect Clyde Hedrick. He had even conversations with Clyde Hedrick. He was really convinced that this dude was involved in Laura's murder.
Close to it the day before they found her body. And I actually went to a hospital because God knew. God knew this, I know. That if I wouldn't have been in a safe place when her body was found, there would have been 2 funerals.
Now, Laura Lynn Miller was a 16-year-old girl who just moved to League City, Texas with her family. They just moved into the house and they didn't even have the phone line set up. So she asked her mom and her dad if she can go down to the local convenience store to use the payphone to call her boyfriend. And from everything I read online, her mother is the one that took her down to the convenience store and then left. I mean, it was innocent enough. She was going to spend some time on the phone with her boyfriend and then walk back home. But sadly, she never made it. There's a little name plaque for her. Laura Lynn Miller, July 17th, 1968 to February 2nd, 1986. The picture's a little faded because of the Texas sun. It says, "You're gone, but not forgotten." The 3 benches that Jessica was standing next to whenever she was looking at Laura Lynn Miller's cross, I'm guessing the church put them here, but Laura Lynn Miller's dad did an interview where he was talking about an organization that he created that helps search for missing people. We're going to talk about that a little bit later on. He did an interview where there's a photo where he's actually sitting on these benches, and in the interview he says that he would often come here and sit in the middle of the night with a loaded gun. At first, before I read further, I thought maybe he was contemplating, committing suicide. But no, he said that he was sitting here hoping and praying that whoever killed his daughter or anybody else would come back to the spot to dump the body, and he was going to take care of it himself. Now Jessica's over here reading because there's, on 2 of the benches, there's an inscription.
I'm looking at this one a little strangely because it's been so worn away that you can't make out the inscription very much anymore. I can make out a few words, but not much of it. But the other inscription is very easy to make out.
The one on this side says, "No farewell words were spoken. No time to say goodbye. You were gone before we knew it. And only God knows why." Every time we do these true crime locations, I always try to come with video or pictures. Now, Laura Miller's father, his name's Tim, he started this thing called the Texas EquiSearch. And basically, it was a group of people that were not police or any kind of like FBI organization or anything like that. There was a group of people that would get together and help search for missing people, missing loved ones.
I remember back in 2000, we was on a search, and a search director for another search team said, "Tim, what are you going to do with your horses?" And I said, "You know what? I just love them. We take them on trail rides and stuff." And he actually suggested, "Why don't you start a mounted search and recovery team? It'd be another good resource." And I said, "That's a good idea." Somebody would come and say, "You know what? I'm a pilot. I got my own airplane, my own helicopter. Can I become a member?"
Come on in.
Come on. Then people would come and say, "You know what? I've got a boat. I'm a certified diver." And then people come and say, "You know what? I work with this company. We've got ground penetration units." So, in all honesty, and it's not bragging by no means, but we've got more resources than most law enforcement agencies in the country have.
So you never say no.
How can you? Yeah. You sit in my office 24 hours and you answer the phone, and I will guarantee you, this is a guarantee, there's going to be somebody crying on the other end of that phone because they got a missing loved one. See if you can tell them no. I can't. It is impossible for a family to move forward with their life without knowing. I know 17 months, every time my phone rang, every time somebody pulled my driveway, every time somebody knocked on the door, I got heart palpitations just thinking they're bringing Laura home. I would never leave a family alone if there's anything that I could ever do to help. To know there's going to be this many families.
Now, I do want to point this out. In the center of your screen, that's where Laura Miller's.
Yeah. And when he says that many, I think it's like 30 something victims. Yeah, insane. In regards to the Texas killing fields, Texas EquiSearch, it's got to be probably in the thousands at this point, I bet.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Crosses. There's another one right over here that Jessica's kneeling in front of. And then if I turn the camera over this way, there are two more. The reason these crosses are where they are is because these were where the bodies were found. That just kind of blows my mind. And they weren't all found at the same time. Sometimes they were years in between. Sometimes the police would come out here to search for one person, and then they would find another victim that they didn't even realize was out there. Also, there would be people walking or hiking the trails back here, the Texas killing fields, or kids on bicycles riding, and they would come across somebody. It's crazy.
There were so many bodies that were found here in the killing fields and would go unidentified that there were several Jane Does already. When one body was found in 1991, she would go on to be labeled as Janet Doe. Eventually, her remains were identified, and her name was Donna. The picture that they used here is when she was young, in her 20s, but Donna would go missing in her mid-30s. She moved around to small towns of Texas trying to escape an abusive relationship. When her body was found, she had several injuries that had healed poorly, including a spinal injury. She would go on to be unidentified for quite some time. In fact, she was one of two to be recently identified with modern technology.
The cross you're looking at right now belongs to Audrey Lee Cook. Her remains were found the same exact time as Donna's were by two boys riding their bikes back here. And for years, both women, their identities were unknown for quite some time. While Donna, she became known as the Janet Doe. Audrey, she was Jane Doe. And like Jessica was saying, in the past couple years, we now know who they are. Another metal name plaque. And her photo is faded because of the sun. And it too says, "You're gone, but not forgotten." There's one more cross that we want to visit. And it's the most interesting or the strangest one of them all when you think about the facts and what happened. And the marker's for a woman by the name of Heidi Villareal-Fyes, F-Y-E. I think I'm saying that right. And that's her right there behind the purple rosary. April 30th, 1958 to April 6th, 1984. Again, the metal plate says, "You were gone, but not forgotten."
So Heidi Villareal-Fyes, she is another well-known case within this Texas killing fields that'll come up quite often.
This is where these crimes, these killings, start getting a lot more stranger. A year before Laura Miller went missing, at the last seen at the payphone at the convenience store, a year before that, she went missing, last seen at the same exact convenience store, supposedly using the same exact payphone. Strange, right? The terrain around the Texas killing fields has changed so much over the years that there's no way that this could have been done in today's times. There's so many different stores, there's people everywhere. Like I said, there's a church that built the property, built their church right here in the center of it all. But there's still so many stories. Everybody here in League City, Texas, knows about this place. And it's kind of hard to get the story straight, to get the facts straight. And doing research on this property alone, these 4 markers, we've come across 4 different articles that talk about 4 different ways the bodies were found. Laura Miller, that cross that's right there, again, in front of the stone benches. Supposedly, whenever she went missing, her father, Tim, pleaded with the police to go searching out here in the killing fields, and for some reason, they wouldn't. And then she was found because they were out here looking for somebody else. And that's how they found her remains. Like I said, the more you dig into what happened here in South Texas, the more it just blows your mind. The area here in League City around Calder Road, the Texas killing fields have changed so much. Like I said, it doesn't look anything like it did back in the 70s. So I kind of wanted to drive around and see if I can see anything that might show what it used to look like. A little further down the street, there's a sign that says proposed future lighted sports park. Now, to give you an idea of where we're at, just to the left of the sign, if you look as far as you can to the tree line, that is where the church is, where the markers are. So they're really starting to build everything up here. Then over this way, again, look the furthest off. And you can see houses. So times are changing, that's for sure. The gas station that Laura Miller and Heidi Fee made the phone call from, the payphone, is here. It's now a Valero, but it's on the corner of West Main and Hobbs Street, not too far from where their bodies were found. And we walked inside and got permission to film, and I asked them if they knew where the payphone once was.
Yeah, this is important because this is where Laura's mom dropped her off to use the payphone to call her boyfriend at the time, because they didn't have a phone at the house hooked up yet because they had just moved into that new house. So her mom took her to this payphone and to call her boyfriend, and that was when she was last seen. I think the payphone was somewhere around over here.
It's no longer here, and they didn't. But if you know anything, at least possibly from the movies, anytime you see a payphone at a place like this, it's on the outside of the building. Just gonna walk around to see if we can see anything. Nothing back there? No. I was just having a nice conversation with these fine folks here at the Waffle House. What is it? League City, Texas, right?
Yes.
Well, what's your name?
Star.
Star? Nice meeting you.
Jade.
Hi, Jade.
Varnell.
What is it?
Varnell.
Varnell? Nice meeting you.
Filed murder case. This makes it the third time Laura Miller's family has gone through this painful.
Bizarre. Which would make sense because it's on the side of the parking lot, off property, but still near the street. I could deal with that.
Only on 2 tonight, more remains buried in a high-profile murder case. This makes it the third time Laura Miller's family has gone through this painful process. Laura's father, EquiSearch founder Tim Miller, speaking to our Robert Arnold tonight. And Robert, this is now 3 times in 3 decades for this family.
And Chris, if you'll permit me a small personal observation, I do believe today's service brought Tim Miller a sense of peace. His daughter Laura disappeared in 1984, and it wasn't until today all of her remains were finally laid to rest.
In the perfect world, a child buries their parent. Unfortunately, things happen where a parent does have to bury their child. Have to bury the same child 3 different times because of reasons out of our control. It was.
Oh my God, that is crazy. Wow. Okay, that I didn't know. That is insane.
Pretty devastating.
Volunteers, family of the missing, investigators, even Galveston County District Attorney Jack Rody bowed their heads to honor the life of 17-year-old Laura Miller.
I think I heard her low voice say, "Dad, I'm so sorry for all the pain that you've been through."
Laura was among the 4 victims found in the so-called killing fields in the 80s and 90s, murders that have never been solved. Due to errors at the Galveston County Medical Examiner's Office during that time, Tim had to bury portions of his daughter's remains twice before. He sued the county and settled. Then, at the end of 2019, Tim was told more of his daughter's remains were found stashed in a box at the ME's office. He filed another lawsuit, then decided to drop it.
Why should I make those people pay for a mistake that somebody made years ago and that person is no longer alive?
Laura's murder is the reason Tim founded Texas EquiSearch, an organization that has saved countless lives around the world. Tim said he is now focusing on the legacy founded on his daughter's memory rather than the pain of her passing.
It was time to say goodbye. It was time to say goodbye. It was very, very difficult carrying that little casket, but it's time to say goodbye.
There are dragonflies everywhere in the cemetery. This is beautiful. Watch it doesn't take your head out.
Oh, I think they have babies.
We now find ourselves in Dickinson, Texas, not too far from League City. The cemetery is known as the daughter, sister, friend, Laura Lynn Miller, July 17th, 1968 to February 2nd, 1986. A little quote, and she is buying a stairway to heaven. There's nothing etched into the back of her stone. But I really like that somebody, I'm guessing her family is the one who keeps bringing out the angels. Her family's still here in League City in Dickinson, Texas. Now, I didn't realize that the Texas EquuSearch was still in operation, still a thing. The main office is still here in its original location. I love how it kind of looks like an old saloon, like old, Texas Western town. Now we reached out, we called the Texas EquuSearch to ask if anybody was still here. Supposedly Laura's father, Tim, still works here and he still likes to talk about the case and what happened to try to, drum up interest, to keep interest going. They haven't gotten back to us yet. We're here for another day. So we might be able to sit down with her father and talk to him for a little bit. But look at this. Painted on the side of the wall. When we started this video off at the memorial behind the church, there were 3 benches and one of them Jessica couldn't reach. She tried really hard, but was too worn away. This is what it says. If tears could build a stairway and memories a lane, I'd walk right up to heaven and bring it home again. While filming this segment, Texas EquuSearch returned our phone call and we asked them if there was anybody here that we can talk to about Laura Miller. As it turns out, everybody's actually out working an active case, so there's nobody here. They did, however, established 2000, lost is not a lost. Established 2000,
Right, I think
lost
I'm
is
gonna
not a
stop it right there. Let me get this, guys. This was on Grim Life Collective. I'm gonna get their link here. Give me just a second. I just subscribed to them. I don't know why I wasn't before. Okay. All right, so there's their link in the chat for you. So now what we're gonna do, what is this? So I'm gonna go through some articles on Clyde Hedrick, the one that they suspected was the killer of Laura and oh my gosh, I just had her name. I got so flustered this morning. Whew. Okay. Of Laura. So I suspect that he is worked in conjunction with James Dolph, but of Laura Miller and Audrey Cook. Here we are. So
Lots of
let me
names
get
to
this.
remember.
What's that?
Lots of names to remember.
You still remember, yeah.
Could you hear me?
I heard you. You said you still remember.
Okay, sorry.
Okay. All right, takes a minute for me to get it screen shared. So Texas killing fields, a suspect dies in Houston, but mystery still hangs over Calder Road. And this was from March 23rd of 2026. Clyde Hedrick, a man long tied to by investigators to the notorious Calder Road stretch known as the Texas Killing Fields, died at a Houston hospital on March 21st. He was 72. For more than 4 decades, Hedrick had been considered a prime suspect in the unsolved deaths of women whose remains were discovered in a Leak City field between the mid-1980s and 1991. Authorities say his death does not close the book on those cases because, well, actually, as we know, James Dolph was arrested, indicted, and arrested. Hedrick was taken to a Houston hospital last week and died on March 21st at about 2 p.m., according to KPRC Houston. So Hitchcock Police Detective Corey Williams told the station he visited Hedrick the day before and that while Hedrick could not speak, he indicated he was not involved in the killings. Tim Miller, father of victim Laura Miller and founder of Texas EquiSearch, said he will keep pressing for answers at the Calder Road Memorial where the families gather. So, long shadow over Calder Road. The low, brushy oil field off Calder Road in League City became infamous after investigators found the bodies of 4 women there between 1984 and 1991. The site has drawn investigators and families back again and again as DNA and genetic genealogy work identified 2 long unknown victims in 2019 and reopened investigative leads. The FBI has said the cases remain actively worked and that the passage of time has complicated efforts to locate witnesses and corroborating evidence, according to the FBI. Even with forensic tools, the long history of the site means investigators are often chasing memories that are decades old. So this is where we're going to pick up off. So Clyde Hedrick has his criminal history is, as the saying goes, as long as your arm. So Hedrick was convicted in 2014 of involuntary manslaughter in the 1984 death of Ellen Ray Beeson. And I'm going to go over that. And was sentenced to 20 years. So in 2014, he was sentenced to 20 years. By the time of his death, just a few months ago, he was already out on parole. He was released to mandatory supervision in October 2021 and had been living at a Pearl halfway house in Southwest Houston. And a Galveston County Court later granted Tim Miller a default wrongful death judgment against Hedrick in July of 2022 for more than $24 million after Hedrick failed to appear. The criminal conviction, Hedrick's release, and the massive civil judgment intensified public scrutiny but did not result in criminal charges tied to the Calder Road victims. Hedrick was never criminally charged in the Calder Road killings, authorities say, and his death will not necessarily close the investigations. Retired FBI agent Richard Renison, who has worked the case for years, has noted that witness accounts and leads sometimes contradict one another, but that investigators continue to follow tips, according to the FBI. Family members and advocates said Hedrick's death will likely shift the public conversation around the cases, but not the work involved in trying to find definitive evidence. Relatives of the victims say they will keep pushing for answers at city, county, and federal levels. Tim Miller, who has long maintained Hedrick's guilt and who won the civil judgment, has repeatedly said he will not stop pursuing the truth. The Calder Rd Memorial remains a focal point for families seeking closure as investigators weigh whether any remaining evidence can be tied to living suspects. And then I have another article. Let me see here if I want to go over this or not. When was this? This was all right, so this is who is Clyde Hedrick. And this was a couple of years ago. So who was Clyde Hedrick? Clyde Hedrick was at the time 68. Again, this was 4 years ago. As heard in the Texas Killing Fields on Netflix, despite Hedrick's charming persona, and he did come off charming, kind of, he had quite the criminal rap sheet, including offenses against minors, strangers, former partners, and state. Hedrick also has been charged with enticing a child, aggravated kidnapping, sexual assault, criminal trespassing, terroristic threat, attempted arson, theft, possession of marijuana, and driving while intoxicated. In 2014, he was found guilty of involuntary manslaughter for the death of 29-year-old Ellen Ray Beeson. Beeson's body was found in July of 1984 on a dirt road in Galveston County, Texas. Her cause of death was initially ruled as undetermined. And as heard in Texas Killing Fields, Hedrick was the last person to be seen with Beeson. And I believe if I remember correctly, something about, they were swimming, and she drowned or something. I can't entirely remember. He was questioned by police and said that the two of them had gone swimming in a pond near the side of the road. He added that Beeson had drowned. He planned to drive her to the hospital, but feared that he would be suspected of murder and instead left her body behind in the open. In 1996, Hedrick was convicted of abusing a corpse and sentenced to a year in jail as there was not enough evidence to prove that Beeson had been killed. However, in 2014, her death was ruled a homicide and Hedrick was convicted of involuntary manslaughter. He was sentenced to 20 years in prison. And as heard in Texas Killing Fields on Netflix, Tim Miller, the father of Laura Miller, believes Hedrick is the man responsible for his daughter's murder. Speaking in the documentary, Tim Miller recalls moments when his teenage daughter would say she was scared of Hedrick. He was the Miller family's neighbor, but has denied any involvement in Laura Miller's death. As recently as 2018, Hedrick wrote to UK newspaper The Guardian, maintaining he did not kill anyone. Like, anyone. However, Kevin Petroff, Galveston County's assistant district attorney, tells filmmakers in the Texas Killing Fields that Hedrick made a jailhouse confession to raping and killing Laura Miller and murdering Heidi Villareal-Fyes. Again, I told you Heidi Villareal-Fyes, that's a name that you're going to hear quite a bit about. Despite an alleged verbal confession, a conviction could not be secured without additional evidence. On September 10th, 1984, 16-year-old Laura Miller disappeared a short distance from her home in Texas. Earlier that evening, she had asked her mother to drive her to a payphone so she could call her boyfriend. After their phone call, Laura Miller had intended to walk home, but she never returned. More than a year later, her body was found in the same patch of land near Calder Rd in Lake City as 23-year-old Heidi Villareal-Fyes, who had vanished in 1983. Fyes' remains were located in April 1984 and Laura Miller's in 1986. Another two bodies were found in the same area. They would be identified two decades later as Audrey Lee Cook and Donna Gonzalez Prudhomme. And Audrey Lee Cook is the other gal that James Dolphs is indicted for. And we don't need to know where Clyde Hedrick is now. We know where he is now. It's kind of rotten in hell. So this is Tim Miller saying about Clyde. I want Clyde to know that I know what you did to my daughter, and I'm not going to let you rest until we have you where you need to be for the rest of your life. As time goes by, and the more information I get, and the more information I am continuing to get, I have no doubt in my mind Clyde Hedrick is responsible for Laura's murder. Despite being found civilly liable for Laura Miller's death, Hedrick has never been charged for her murder. Well, he was indicted and took the cowards out. All right, so that's that. I do have another article. Let me get this up and we can kind of view it here. Hey Fly, how you doing? It's gorgeous here. I'm sure it's gorgeous. I'm sure it's like absolutely stunning, probably where you're at. I know you're on the islands and or over by the islands, and it is so pretty over there. Hey, Irish. Hey. Irish, you're cleaning and listening. Hey, Irish, did you hear about Adam Montgomery at all? Like, did you hear that his murder conviction was reversed this morning? Remember, Adam Montgomery was the father of Harmony Montgomery? Yeah, the Supreme Court this morning, the Supreme Court reversed his murder conviction, the sons of bitches, on a technicality. Um, oh, so irate. Oh, so irate this morning reading that. Yeah, I posted a link to the article on my page. You can read. It is so stupid. I mean, the guy's gonna be in jail for like I mean, or not jail, but he's gonna be in prison for decades longer. But um, they reversed it. I have no idea if he's gonna get a retrial or what. I mean, like, who fucking cares? It's just gonna be a waste of taxpayer money, anyways. And it's It's not like he's going to show up to the trial anyways. He didn't show up to the last one. Yeah. Ooh, that got me mad. Okay. Let's breathe. Like, ew. Yeah, I have no idea. Um, Fly, I think you're on. Are you on Fly? Are you in vertical? Because I think Irish is in horizontal. So yeah, Fly, I think you're in vertical. If you switch to the horizontal, you will be able to see Irish. And Fly says Irish, and Willow, I posted a short and tagged you. Craig talking to BJ like he normally does on a hot mic. No, I haven't seen it. I didn't watch any of BJ's lives last night. I have to get caught up. Um I'll check it out though after I'm done here. Was he, just out of curiosity, was he like releasing some things he shouldn't have said? For those who don't know, we're talking about allegedly with Brittany J. Alright, so let me get this. Let me take a look at this other article real quick, so bear with me. I don't know if I want to go over this one or not. I think this one article just like describes like, well, here I'll show you it, like how he was like this so-called, how Clyde Hedrick was like this so-called like ladies' man, and I think he charming. Well, he could kind of woo his way into women's hearts, but yeah, there he is. This was a booking photo. I don't know when. Doesn't say. Yeah, it describes him as a good-looking man back in the day, could dance really well, which is just one of the reasons he considered himself a ladies' man. Well, he was a killer, abuser of abuser of all the types, by the way, children included. Right, I'm not gonna do that anymore. So, um, so kind of, I did a FOIA request asking for, a bunch of information on Clyde Hedrick, and they directed me to, well, they gave me a lot of instructions, and it directed me to a portal and stuff. Let me get it looked at real quick. This is going to be mostly about her information about Clyde Hedrick's the reindictment for a murder back 2014. It's kind of where I started. I went through a bunch of paperwork and then all the way into the indictment before I was like, oh my God, I'm like overbraid. My mind's shot at this point. So, and I don't want to keep dragging this live on for much, it would have been very, very long if we were to go over everything in one live, like hours and hours and hours. Like, I'll show you guys. Let me get this all the way up here. Because I'll tell you, this guy has a rap sheet like crazy. Is it this one? Okay. See if it'll let me go back. Okay, come on. Okay, here we go. And it's Clyde Edwin Hedrick. Disposed. Because he's no longer on this earth when it says that. So status disposed or whatever the outcome was of that case. Like he's no longer with us anyways. So we have this, an interest of a child, some kind of a divorce thing. And then here you go, like felony, a bunch of misdemeanors, felony, misdemeanor, civil cases. I think I know what a reciprocal. That's not. That's probably to do with his ex-wife. And divorce. So like it's insane. And then when you open all those up and you look like and then you could bring up like thousands of documents, I swear. So the first one I went to was the murder indictment, which I think it's this one. Yeah, the involuntary manslaughter. Oh, I didn't even, gosh dang it, and it didn't even share the screen. Well, shit. What the frick? Sorry about that. All right, so yeah, I'll just back out and I'll show you guys. So you go to the Tyler Odyssey portal, do the search. and it'll pulls up Clyde Hedrick, and there is, you know, all of the things that he has been involved with. Like I said, the first one I'm going to start with is it's actually the re-indictment of Clyde Edwin Hedrick back in 2014. For Oh my gosh, my names are completely going out of my brain today. Because it doesn't show. Well, let's do this. Hang on. He was indicted for I am just going to Google it because it's going to bother me. Ellen Ray Beeson. Good Lord. Okay. Yeah, she says Tim Miller always breaks my heart. Hope is with Laura now. Um, I Tim Miller's still on this earth, still with us, but hopefully he can find a little more peace now. But so case information, we have Clyde Hedrick, and this is the charge, the involuntary manslaughter charge. This was back in 2014. The cause of and manner of Ellen Ray Beeson's death could not be determined. Witness Deborah Darling has previously received electroshock therapy due to her experiences with the defendant. She indicated that those past treatments have not affected her memory. The defendant told witness Carol K. Washkun that he did not kill Ellen Ray Beeson, and that her death was an accident. This conversation occurred after he was released from prison. The defendant told Candy Ray Gifford that he did not kill Ellen Ray Beeson, but her death was an accidental drowning. The defendant told Marla Sanford that he did not kill Ellen Ray Beeson, but her death was an accidental drowning, and he moved her body to a location where it was under a couch. Excuse me. On July 12, 1985, the defendant took a polygraph examination regarding Ellen Ray Beeson's death, and the examination failed to reveal to the examiner significant criteria that would indicate deception on the part of Hedrick. And all the above mentioned records and statements will be made available to you. Thank you sincerely. Da, 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 da. These are ones that I kind of found were important. because we're going over this. And then this next one. Oh, come on, what is my computer doing? I know there's more. Stop it. There it goes. All right. Triple L, Fly on Your Walls asking, did you see a notification for the other live? What's going on? Oh, what's going on? My live? What? I'm still live, aren't I? As far as I know. What's happening here? Oh, fuck. I see. Well, interesting. Guess they didn't like my verbiage. Okay, well, I will have to take a look at that. That's crazy. Yeah, I see. It was a YouTube thing. It was a community guidelines. So I'm just gonna have to review it. Yeah, I kind of figured they probably didn't like my words. It is what it is. But I'm still in horizontal. That's interesting. Yeah. Well, I mean, YouTube, I'm still learning. I'm still learning Irish. And as you can tell, I'm also pretty I don't mince words. So probably YouTube didn't like what I had to say um in regards to, the M word, the red rumming, which I guess I can't really do that. Those kind of things. I'll just have to review it after this live. Um, it is what it is. So we'll see. I can see if I can fight it. I'm also going to be I also have a Rumble account set up. I was gonna do multi-stream live to it. I had my other live set up to it. I lost it, and then this morning I just wasn't in the right mind to frame to get it rehooked up, but I will be doing that. So, yeah. All right, so on to this one. So, um, this is the state's notice of intent to use evidence of other crimes, wrongs, or acts. And this is just listing the following offenses and/or convictions. I guess to be safe, I won't read them aloud, but you can see all of this. And then the two following extraneous offenses. It just keeps going. Like, it's insane. The guy he's got a lot to himself, to his history on him. It's a crazy. Okay. And then the next one. Oh, now I'm all like, what the heck? I had a clean channel until that crap. Oh, hey Daria. Hey, how are ya? Yeah. Hey Daria, do you mind if I mod you up? Is that okay? Yeah, right. No, I was really opinionated. I kind of should just call myself the opinionated asshole, I swear. Um, yeah, fly on your wall. Um, I'm just gonna have to look into it and see what it actually was that was that YouTube didn't like, and see what I can do. Yes, Daria, let me get you actually modded here. Oh, if I can. I know there's an easy way to do this because I've done it before. No, I don't want to do that. Well, let me do this. Daria is a super mod, right? Like I totally trust her. And come on here. Irish, I should just be able to click on her name, right? Oh, let me try. Maybe not from StreamYard, huh? Let me try it from my phone. That's probably easier, right? Well, here we are. Okay, Daria. Now I think I got it. Go ahead and type something. No buying. No, no, none of that. There is nothing. Yeah, block Irish. No, no. Fact Irish. I'm actually gonna mod you too, if that's okay. I go back. Come on. Actually, I'm just gonna add you, Irish, as a moderator. I don't care what you say. Later. All right, now you're added. I obviously don't have since I'm not too active at the moment. So my channel is pretty chill. All right, so what do I have the next one here? I'm still all paranoid here. I don't know if I want to go through all the documents until I know what I should or should. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to until I know what happened entirely. I don't want to read through all these documents and then be like, I keep making the same mistake over and over. Um, I have a documentary up that I think I'm going to play. Plus, I really need to go to the bathroom. Um, so let me get this pulled up here. And I'm going to post their link in the chat where I got this. Oh, come on. Go back. Stop. All right, so here we go. So the Texas Killing Fields, it's a true crime documentary series. This was done by Bill Carruthers. And don't know if we'll get through all of this. I think there was at some point that I did want to stop, which I think was right about here. Okay. Oh, gosh dang it. And there we go. And why is my chat? Why can I not chat? Daria, you're able to chat, right? And Irish? Is it not liking me because it thinks I still am in horizontal? What? What is happening here? See, I type test and it just says, it looks like your YouTube live chat is disabled. So what? Daria, Irish, do you know like how if I can switch to just oh well you see it. Well, oh God. I'm wondering if it's just doing it because it's still recognizing horizontal. I don't know. Oh. Like so I'm seeing on StreamYard, I see horizontal and I see vertical, but I don't know what's happening here. As long as the vertical hide I can see the preview for vertical. Hey, Sunflower Girl, you're just here just in time because all the fuckery that happened with my live stream on. Dang it. Okay, so can you close out? Yeah, that's what I'm trying to figure out. How do I close out horizontal? Yeah, I don't like this layout either because they removed it because they didn't like something I said or whatever. I'm sure. So yeah, Irish, I normally just like the horizontal. The vertical, I just have to do vertical because I've seen other creators doing just vertical and they're saying there's a reason why, but then they don't say why. And I'm wondering if it's something with YouTube. And okay, well, I'm gonna play this. We'll get this going for a little bit, and then I think what we'll do is I'll continue on. Continue it on in another live, but we'll get this going at least. Um, See how far I can go.
The body of Tim Miller's daughter, Laura, is one of 4 that turned up in this League City field between 1983 and 1991.
Why don't we want to solve this? This is a big deal here.
It was kind of a Wild West. There was a lot of good old boys type stuff going on.
I invented drive-by shootings in Dickinson, Texas. Yes, I fought Clyde Hedrick.
Wrong place, wrong time. You know, run into the devil sometimes.
Now we really have a reason for this to be called the damn killing fields. It was crazy. I don't know if I really can't even put my finger on all the emotions that I was going through.
I have very, very fond memories of being with her. My grandfather was the last person to see her. And she was, "Bye, Daddy." She had helped him cut a limb off a tree. She climbed the tree for him that day. And
Hey, can you guys hear this okay? Because it sounds like on my end, like it's cutting in and out. Um, are you guys getting it pretty clearly though? Let me know. Somebody can tell me. Daria, is it pretty clear on your end? Hey Donna, how you doing? Irish, did the video sound pretty clear on your end? Because it was sounding like it was um choppy on mine, but I don't know if that was just my StreamYard or what. So I want to make sure you guys are hearing it okay before I continue. Thank you, Sunflower Girl. Appreciate that. I try. All right, sound is good. Cool. Thank you, Irish.
Cut the limb down and helped him work in his garden. So they hung out all day together that day. And he told her that, you know, I'm gonna go home and I'll be at Josie's tomorrow. She just said, I'm going to the store, I'm gonna get a ride. It wasn't uncommon.
But your dad was like, no, I'll take you, nothing.
Yeah.
Oh.
Mija, you want a ride? No, Dad, I got it. She was spotted using that phone at the convenience store, according to the clerk. I mean, but all the details were fuzzy back then. There was no surveillance cameras. There wasn't anybody paying attention. She was a regular. So I don't think she stood out that day in any particular way, except she knew the clerk. And she saw her on the phone. It was right before Halloween, and we were at my grandparents' house because we always went over there for the holidays. And I remember my mother snapping and saying, how could you even think about Halloween when we haven't heard from Heidi? I think we were just grasping at trying to have some level of normalcy because my grandparents were so distraught. I mean, they were just beside themselves with worry. I'm Nina Yeager, and I'm Heidi's niece, the first victim of the killing fields in Lake City, Texas. She said, if anything ever happens to me, go to the Lake City police because I have friends there. And unfortunately, that didn't seem to be the truth.
They think that maybe she just ran off with somebody.
Well, that's what they wanted to tell us. She didn't want to be found. She's an adult. She just went missing on her own. And she didn't want us looking for her. Don't put out flyers. Don't go to the media. That was a big one.
Why?
You know, Robert, if I had the answer to that, it would be amazing. As you can imagine, I mean, it fractured us. It was something missing after that. Not just her physically, but just the light in my grandparents' eyes. It's like it got snuffed out when they found her remains. There was no hope of her coming back. And she had a beautiful 5-year-old daughter that they had to soldier up and, you know, take care of. But nothing was ever the same. Holidays, Christmas, Easter, around when she was found, her birthday was April 30th. It was never the same again after that. And I wonder how differently all of our lives would have been.
September 10th, 1984, and I'll never ever forget that day. I was getting ready to walk out the door to go Calder Drive and Main Street to work on Calder Shop Center. And Laura said, Dad, can I talk to you? And I said, sure, sis. What's on your mind? And she said, is it okay if Vernon comes over tonight? Which Vernon was Laura's boyfriend. And I said, I believe that'd be a good idea. We just moved in this house from Dickinson. Tim Miller, Laura Miller's father, and also founder, director of Texas EquiSearch. And of course, the day you move in, your phone wasn't hooked up. It normally took 3 or 4 days way back then. There was actually a payphone at a convenience store right at the end of 517 and Hobbs Road, which is maybe a half mile away from the house. So I said, but when Mom comes home for a lunch break, have her take you down to the payphone and call Vernon and say, Dad says it's okay to come over. So anyhow,
Okay. Sorry, guys. I needed to get up and stretch and go to the bathroom here. What is chat saying here? Don't put up flyers. Oh, I gotta catch up to you guys. Oh, hey, security. How you doing? Yeah. Uh-oh, security's here. Hey, security. Want to tell me why YouTube gave me a community guidelines strike then? Yeah, yeah, Irish. It is a good refresher watching this. Um, Again, you can also go on, on Netflix, and if you have Netflix, go to the Texas Killing Fields. Thank you, security. Thank you for subbing up. Hit the like. Apparently, I can use it right now. Whatever kind of fuck shit just happened here. What does that mean, though? What does that mean? Don't put up flyers. Flyers about what? Girl, don't you be naked. Jeez. Yes, Sunflower Girl, I am not monetized. I don't have enough, first off, I don't have enough members, and um I don't have enough, like watch hours and stuff, so I don't qualify. I'm willing to bet I can get this community guidelines strike reversed. 'Cause I'm not even sure what the hell happened, but well, I think I kind of have an idea because I think I mentioned that somebody unalived themselves, and I used the actual S word. So they probably didn't like that. Yeah, I'll get there. I'll get there eventually, Daria. But what is this about don't put up flyers? Who said that? Yeah, I don't as far as I know, you can't play Netflix. I don't know the reason why, but I think I've just seen others that will go on to play Netflix, like, off of Rumble or Kick or, Discord. Cops No, I think the email I got Irish. Let me see. Let me pull it up. Okay. YouTube removed your content, and it says it looks like a part 1 review of Clyde Hedrick, longtime suspected killer of Laura Miller, Tim Miller's, didn't follow community guidelines and we removed it from YouTube. You can review and take action. What we found, we think your content violated our community harassment or violated our harassment policy. And then it says how this impacts you. We removed this content from YouTube. Content that shares, threatens to share, or encourages others to share non-public, personally identifiable information isn't allowed on YouTube. This may include an individual's home address, email address, sign-in credentials, phone number, passport number, medical records, and bank account information. Keep in mind that we have a stricter approach on content that targets minors. They remove the content from YouTube, review your content and the policy. Then you can optionally appeal if you think we got it wrong, edit video and submit for another review. Automated system. So it looks like it was a community guideline to me. So I'll have to figure out and it doesn't give me where what. What did I do? Oh, my bad. Sorry. Okay, in the video, they told the family not to put up flyers. I'm finally getting caught up to chat here. Gotcha. Do I have my stream on 18 and plus? I don't know if that matters. Actually, Daria, that's a good question. I should. It should be. Let me take a look. Sidebar. Will it let me? I have to go to my studio. Mhm. Oh, what is this? Oh, and now it says this content is removed from YouTube. Impact on content. This content can't be viewed on YouTube. This isn't a strike, so your channel isn't impacted. Okay. Well, all right. Well, that's not a strike then, but it is a warning for something. Next step, you can edit your video to fix the issue, or you can appeal. Well, I'll take a look at that later. Well, dang it. Hey, Irish. Irish, do you know how to I mean, when I set up my stream, like I always set it up for like 18 and over or whatever it is that in StreamYard, I can't remember what the word is. How do you um check in your YouTube? How do you check for you if you're 18 and over? Like it I should always be 18 and over. Like that should be a given. I have this no under my advanced settings where it says no, set this channel as not made for kids. I almost never upload content that's made for kids. So there's that. So I'm assuming it should be 18 and over at this point. All right, well, let's continue.
Yeah, her mother took her there and was talking on the phone and stuff, and I guess her mom says, Laura, hurry up, I'm going to be late going back to work. And Laura says, Mom, I just want to talk to her a little bit longer. And she said, all right, be careful, see when I get home. Well, Laura's mom got home and Laura wasn't there, and of course she was concerned. We thought there for a moment that maybe Vernon got there a little bit early and the kids were out walking, because they'd say, walk. Oh my
Thank
God,
you,
the kids
Irish.
walked a lot. Then we got a knock on the door and it was Vern.
I'll ask
And
Laura.
we said, where's Laura? And he said, well,
What?
I don't know. She said I could come over. We panicked at that moment, but again, not to the point that I think Laura was murdered. Laura had a seizure problem. She had to be on her medication twice a day. And we said, oh my God, she was walking back from the store. She had a seizure. Somebody took her to the hospital. So we went to Clear Lake Hospital. We went to St. John's Hospital. And no Laura. The next morning, we reported her missing in the Lake City Police Department. And you know what? I'm not out to slander police departments, but I'm just going to tell the truth. And when I reported her missing, I'll never forget this. Detective literally rolled his eyes at me. And he said, well, you know, y'all just moved from Dickinson to Lake City. Laura just turned 16. You know, that's a age when they run away. And I said, well, even if that's the case, Laura's in trouble because she has to have her medication twice a day or she'll go into seizures. 2 days later, our phone got hooked up. We went back to Lake City Police Department, and I said, listen, nobody's seen Laura. Here's our phone number. I said, now I'm really, really concerned. I said, because 5-6 months ago, the body was found somewhere off of Calder Drive. I said, this is a small town. This stuff doesn't happen. I said, would you please tell me where the property's at or please search it? Same detective. And he says, He said, yeah, that girl Heidi, she worked at a bar. Somebody took her out after the bar closed to have sex. She didn't give up the sex. They murdered her, threw her out. Isolated incident. I'll never forget the words. Isolated incident. And they said, don't talk to Heidi's parents because they're trying to get over Heidi's death. Go home, wait by your phone. Laura's going to be calling. So I went to the police department the next week, went to the next week, went to the next week. The job went to hell. And, you know, life just started turning into shambles.
We got a call from the dispatcher that said that two kids on dirt bikes found what they thought was possibly a deceased person. When I got to the scene, I knew immediately it was a human. You know, I could smell the decomposition. Robert Valentine. I'm a former League City police officer. I could tell it was a female, long, dark hair, auburn hair.
Iris says there should be a timestamp. Problem is that I'm looking in my email. I don't see a timestamp, and I'm looking on my YouTube studio, and I read off everything there, and says content's removed. It's not giving me a freaking timestamp though that I can see, except for at the bottom it says, here's what you can do. In the next step, you can edit your video to fix the issue, or you can appeal our decision and we'll take another look. And then it says take action. So I think that's what I'm gonna do. I feel like if I do that now, it might mess up my stream. So that's the only thing I can see. Like, I don't see like a timestamp. Like, that would be great, but I don't see it. So I might play this for next 5-10 minutes, and then I'm gonna kind of deal with this issue.
And I didn't want to get that close. And I just wanted to, again, back off, but I knew what it was. And it was kind of eerie because I'm looking around and I'm wondering what else is out here. I notified the dispatcher and asked for Tom, the other officer, to come by the scene. And when he did, we started securing the location. And there was a point where we just kind of scattered, moved out a wider area. I saw what I thought was possibly some remains, but I wasn't sure because they were in the brush. And I'm looking, and about that time, Tom called out he had found a skull. And I thought, oh, this is another one. What do we got here? I think both of us were somewhat taken back. Like, we weren't expecting this. We were just looking for evidence from the original victim. And boom, we found the second one. And there we backed off and said, okay, that's it. We're not going to touch anything else. Who would have done this? Who came out here? It had to be someone who knew the area or someone who frequented that area, possibly. It was a muddy dirt road at that time that came to a dead end, if you will. Once you pass the scene where the bodies were, part of the oil fields that were still out there. A lot of people would dump trash. Unless you would have gone out there quite often or maybe knew that area, you wouldn't know where it was going. So the thoughts were, we got to secure the scene. We have to make sure that nothing else is disturbed and go forward. We knew at that time, Tom and I were talking, we knew at that time that there had also been another homicide out there previously, and that was Heidi Villareal-Fyes. And I remember looking at the scene and where the three bodies were, it was almost like a direct line, if you will. And I thought that was a little odd. So at that point, we contacted CID. The scene was somewhat secure, but not secured as you would hoped it would have been. That was somewhat disappointing, because here we have two bodies now, and they were going to do it the next day. And we had no authority to start doing anything, and we definitely weren't going to touch the scene. I remember we were out there and it was getting dark and there was really nothing being done. They had someone securing the scene. It was a volunteer person, with League City.
Did they at least rope it off with the crime scene tape? Not even crime scene tape.
When I left, there was no crime scene tape up. There was a person sitting in the lawn chair securing the scene. That was pretty much it.
In a lawn chair. Really?
Reading the Houston Post back then, and on the second page it said remains of two females found in field in League City. We kept reading the article and it said same field Heidi Villareal-Fyes was found in. So we actually took that newspaper to League City Police to say, is there any chance one of these girls could be our daughter? And they did not even have a missing person report on Laura. They just knew she ran away. So then they asked us for some of Laura's clothes, winter clothes, so they could do hair samples. And then they asked us who her dentist was, and we got dental x-ray.
Yeah, not a secure scene at all. You can imagine. No wonder Tim Miller did what he did, and God bless that man for his strength and perseverance and pushing and not giving up.
And then 3 days later, they called us. We went in there and they said, yes, one of them girls is your daughter, Laura. And I thought at that time that if they would have listened to me, if they would have came out here and searched, they would have found Laura's body. She would have been dead, but there may have been some damn evidence. My emotions went just everywhere. Why wouldn't they listen? You know what? I would go out there where Laura's body was found, and I would search this damn property. I wanted to find her little cross around her neck. I wanted to find her clothes. I felt it's obvious there's got to be more bodies out here. I just got obsessed with this damn place.
I know it was a long time ago, but
She was a very distinctive looking young lady, if you will. And I say that because what I noticed right away was a gap between her teeth. And I thought, someone's got to know this girl.
Audrey was always really good about calling her mother on Christmas. She never missed calling her on her birthday. Well, Christmas came and she didn't call. Her mother's birthday is in January. 12th. And she didn't get a call. She loved her family. She was very loving towards her family. It was
Oh yeah, absolutely, Daria. They could have
just like
found
she
her
had died
so
that
much
moment.
sooner. Oh,
Even though
absolutely.
she'd been dead that long and I'd been looking for her all that time. I'm Shirley Love. I am Audrey Cook's sister-in-law.
And I remember Audrey Cook is the second victim that James Dolphs is indicted for.
She was a daddy's girl. And by the time I came on the scene, she was a tomboy. Her dad, they camped, and she liked to go fishing with her dad. She had a motorcycle, dirt bike. She moved to California and was out there for quite some time, maybe a couple of years. And then they came back to Memphis and stayed for a very short period of time. And then that was when they moved to Houston.
She did move with someone.
Yes.
She had a partner.
Yes.
Do you know why she left?
Memphis?
Mm-hmm.
Better life, better job. Yeah, there just wasn't anything in Memphis that she wanted to do. And she has a very adventurous spirit. Okay. And so she wanted to see other places, and do things that she never did.
How'd she settle in Houston?
I really don't know. She would call her mother quite often, but she would call a lot of times wanting money. And of course, her mother would always come through for her against her daddy's approval. Her daddy would always say, "You tell her that I will send her a plane ticket when she's ready to come home and get her life together." So the last communication that she had with her mother was to call for money. Earlier in the week, she had called and she had sent her money, and she'd tell her always to call me when you get it, would wire it. Mm-hmm. And she did. And then later in the same week, she called again, wanting more money. And her mother sent her money again. And she says, "Now you call me when you get it." And she didn't call.
Thank you. Thank you, Irish.
When her mother kept not hearing from her, she sent a registered letter to her last address. So she would have to sign for it. And it came back.
Oh,
1984 is when he
1987.
was diagnosed with leukemia. So, and she knew that he was sick, and she was in Houston. And in some of the letters, she would ask her mom, "Well, how's Philip doing?" When he died in 87, it was like, where is she? I mean, we still can't find her to notify her that her brother has died.
I agree.
About a year after that,
it's pretty darn cool.
Like something is really, it really got under my skin. And her mother, I loved her mother. She loved me like I was theirs. And I could see what it was doing to her. She'd lost her son She had no idea where her daughter was.
How was the dad?
He stayed busy.
But that was a way of coping.
Yes. They couldn't talk about it much between them. She kept pushing him, to go down there, look for her, try to find her. He says, if she wants to come home, she will. Still not giving a clue that there would be anything that bad. Probably by 89, I had about decided that she had assumed somebody else's identity. She was a Jane Doe somewhere, or she had left the country. Because I had looked high and low for what I could do, the means that I had. I never gave up. I never gave up. When the internet came along, it's no telling. I had my office set up right in there. And sometimes at 1:30 and 2 o'clock in the morning, I would be in there on dial-up, searching.
Dial-up days. Oh, dial-up. I remember those days.
Looking. I still had hope of finding where she was and contacting her, and whatever the problem was, to fix it and bring her home. Let her know, that everybody loved her. When I moved her mother out of Memphis to a nursing home close to me so that I could take care of her, we had to clean out the house. And one of the little cedar jewelry box things about that big, I opened it, and there was all of Audrey's letters. I was really excited when I found them, simply because I could look at the postmarks, what she was talking about, maybe names that she was, so I could find her. Oh, every address that was on an envelope, I Googled it. I felt like so many times I was so close. I just needed to look a little further. And then I would just,
I don't know what YouTube's
Shirley, you
doing.
gotta let it go. And I would give up for a little while. Then something would come back and eat at me again, and I would get back on the internet. The detective, I gave her partner's name. I had all the research and stuff that I had done, like where her mail was forwarded. She found Audrey and her partner, she said they had broken up because of the lifestyle that Audrey had chosen to be in with the drugs and stuff that, she had left. So Audrey wasn't with her anymore. Her mom passed away in 2008. Her dad passed away in 2012.
So they never knew she was found.
No. I always looked in hopes of finding her for them. Of course, I didn't want it to be that way. The way that she was, I wanted to find her and that she would come home. Not in a box.
More than 3 decades to identify the remains.
I would say that she liked to have fun, that's for sure. We did a lot of board games like backgammon, canasta, that kind of thing. The other thing she loved to do was fish and crab. And I've said that time and time again because it was just a really, really peaceful pastime for her. Whether that would be on the Sabine River on the bank or on Pleasure Island or on the seawall, you could find her there.
2019, police identified Janet Doe as Donna Prudhomme, another name you're going to
Hi,
get.
I'm Diane Gottsplin. I am Donna Gottsplin Prudhomme's sister.
Another name you're going to get very familiar with here.
She loved Janis Joplin, and that was her time. We came up where ZZ Top and Janis Joplin were coming up. The other thing that was the most important would be her children.
Ooh.
And that's kind of hard to say.
How many children did Donna have?
She had 2, Chad and Brad. They were 12 and 16.
When she disappeared?
When she disappeared. I stayed at Donna's a lot. I babysat my other siblings' kids, but all through high school and all of that, I spent a lot of time with her.
When had you last seen Donna?
Well, this was a different time.
Of course.
There wasn't technology. There were letters written and things like that. The collect call once in a while, that kind of thing. Her entire life, she's been in the Golden Triangle. It wasn't until she moved to Austin, and I want to say it was in 85, 86 time. 87 is when she mailed my mother a picture of her and the boys from Thanksgiving, and they were all very happy. That's what we thought. We thought she was doing well, and she was doing well. But unfortunately, she relapsed. And that's when she brought the boys to Louisiana to their paternal grandparents. So that's where they lived, in Ville Platte, Louisiana. My mother died September of 88, and Donna did not make it in for the funeral. So 89, she went to see the boys, and then she came to see me. A couple of weeks later, I had worked for a dentist for 8 years, and she knew my number to work. And she called me for her birth certificate because she was going to go on vacation to Mexico.
Why do you put it in quotes?
Vacation, because we never saw her again. Like, I didn't know if she died in Mexico. All those years, we had nightmares that we don't know. We didn't know where she was, right? So that was the last contact with her, was mailing her birth certificate to Bay Area Boulevard, Clear Lake, Texas. And I remember that like it was yesterday. I know when she was moved to Clear Lake, she was moving with friends. I don't know, but she was moving with friends to start a new life. That's what we were left with. There were decades and days and months and nights of nightmares. And fear. My biggest regrets is that my children had to watch me grieve this so much. And I did my best for them not to know and see it, but definitely they did. Chad was in a MBA in 1999, July 1999, and it left him paralyzed from the waist down and the left side, and cognitive impairment pretty seriously. So he was in and out of nursing homes for a decade, and I was his caregiver, overseer. All Chad ever asked for was to find his mama. Even when I say it, I can see him. So whenever we would get there and walk in, he would always say, "Hey, Diane, you find my mama yet?" Because Cajun talk really fast, and say, "No, baby, I haven't." So that was really sad to watch. a grown man needing his mother. Fast forward to 2008, he had to have his legs amputated, and his last wish was to find his mother. I was living in Austin, and so I had already had detectives had looked for her off and on over the years, but what was important this time is that I went and spoke with a local investigator that's also the editor of the Examiner newspaper named Don Dodd. I told him the story, and he looked for any aliases there may have been. There wasn't any brown hair, brown-eyed, missing unidentified women in databases or anything like that. And about 2 weeks later, I went to meet with him, and he said, there's not a trace. There's not a trace. And basically, you have two choices. You can believe that she's remarried and living a good life somewhere, or she's no longer with us. And I said, well, I will never believe that she's having a good life without her children, because she lived for them. That was 2008. And that's also when we lost Chad. So he passed away that year. After that point, I had to put it to rest for my own well-being, for my own mental health. And so for me, she was gone.
Oh my God. Oh, Irish. So looking at your instructions, and uh it is not age restricted. It says no, it's not made for kids. Viewers. Oh, yes, restrict my video. Viewers over 18. Hey, Laura, when you're doing like all of my or perplexed, when you're doing like all of my lives need to be 18 and over, like all of them. I do true crime content, like they all need to be 18 and over. Like, can you do just a generic one, or do you have to do it like every single live to go in there and age restrict it? Do not do 18 and over? Do not age restrict. Why do I not want to age restrict? Yeah, why not? Why would I not want to age restrict when this is pretty sensitive materials? Oh, YouTube thinks of 18 and over. Oh, really? Mm. That is crazy. But then they'll get you for other things saying it should be 18 and over. That's interesting. Okay, well, let me fix that then. 'Cause that wasn't the problem. Okay. All right, so we're gonna go here just a little bit longer, and then I'm gonna deal with this stuff. I'm gonna end the live and deal with this stuff. Hey, Barb. Hey, Barb. How are you doing? All right, here we go. Just a few minutes longer. And then
One of the girls came and said, Miss Diane, your phone's going off.
I'll go just a few minutes longer and then we'll pick it up on the next one.
Because it was in the office charging. And when I went to go get it, it was my cousin. There was 3 missed calls, I think, and call ASAP. So when I did, I thought maybe something happened to my uncle or my aunt, you know, totally out of nowhere. She said, I just got off the phone with the Detective Tisdale from the League City Police Department. And then I knew what that was. So, I mean, my legs fell out, you know, all those years of searching and all of that, that she was around the corner, basically. She wasn't with us, but she was just that close. I'm going to speak for Brad right now because he can't. He's not here, but I know what he said. He knows she didn't abandon them. So even though this is a tragic, tragic thing, for him, he knew that his mama loved him. She didn't just walk out of their lives.
Thank you. Thank you, Perplex.
Forensic genealogy is a fairly new tool in the law enforcement field. It's
I'm just going to stop it here. So, yeah, I'm just going to stop it here. I've got it paused. I'll keep it up on my screen along with my other court documents that I have. So I can end the live. I'm going to go through the other one, figure out what went wrong, because apparently Laura Perplexed. I have Laura Triple L and I have Laura Perplexed. And Laura Perplexed, I was, oh, come on. I was streaming on vertical and horizontal, and my horizontal got shut down. And maybe you can help me out. It says, I got an email, YouTube removed your content. It looks like part 1 review of Clyde Hedrick, longtime suspected killer of Laura Miller, Tim Miller's ... didn't follow community guidelines or removed it from YouTube. What we found, we think your content violated our harassment policy. And they removed the content, but they didn't say anything about this being a strike. So let me go back and get the words for you. Hold on. Go to my studio. Okay, it talks about harassment and cyberbullying policy. Whatever, I'm not sure what. Content is removed from YouTube. This content can't be viewed on YouTube. This isn't a strike, so your channel isn't impacted. But then it gives me the option to take action, but it's not giving me like a timestamp or anything. So I'm thinking once I end this live, I'm gonna go take action and try to figure it out. So see. Yeah, um, perplexed. If you happen to know anything, just let me know. Otherwise, like if there's a special place I need to go to figure out where there's a timestamp that I can't find. I'm looking in my email. I don't know. I'm guessing because I was reviewing in the beginning of this live, I was pretty heated. Let's be honest. I was pretty heated because we were talking about Adam Montgomery and I'm guessing whatever I said maybe about Adam Montgomery they didn't like or something something in a court document maybe I read. I don't know. So I guess we'll figure it out. But I'm guessing I have to review that live before they shut it down and see what it was and then, fix my ways. I also think I said the S word instead in regards to somebody that unalived themselves. Perplexed. She says she's confused. Did YouTube flag you? YouTube? I don't really know. YouTube, I was streaming on both horizontal and vertical, and it shut down my horizontal. And then sent me that email that I read you, but then it said it wasn't a community guideline strike. It didn't say it was a strike, but so I just want to know what I said. I'll figure it out. Let me actually maybe if I can check it on my phone. I'm guessing they just didn't like my choice of words, but we will see. Yeah, yeah, Irish. It was a bot for sure. It wasn't, nobody reported me or nothing like that. It was an automatic, it was a YouTube thing. That's clear. So, Barb asked, was I streaming someone? I don't know. I mean, I played a video, but as far as I know, I followed by, whatever you call it, the guidelines. Show show me how they make fake crab meat. Oh my goodness, that's oh, that's funny, Barb. Of all the things. All right, so yeah, I am going to, like I said, I'm going to end this here. I've got this paused, and then we will pick up on the next live and go more into Clyde Hedrick. I think I can swear all I want. I think they just probably didn't like that I said that he unalived himself, which he did. That's a fact. But they didn't like the S word, I'm guessing. So, anyways, I will end it here, and I hope y'all have a great rest of your afternoon. Take a deep breath. That's what I have to tell myself. Chill. Go watch some BJ stream and relax and have a good laugh. That's what I'm gonna do. No, oh no, perplexed. It wasn't the video I was playing just now. It might have been the other one. There was another one, but as far as I know, um, I followed by the policies on that one. So, but we'll see. Maybe it was. Maybe I didn't um, pause enough. You know, we'll see. You're right. That very well could be. That could be one of many things. All right. All right. Bye. Bye, y'all. Have a good day.